evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, and bring you information about your library and your community. This evening my guest is Cindy Wright from Peoria Public Library. She works at Main Library in our reference department, and she is one of our staff members who knows a great deal about e-readers and e-books. So I've asked her to come and join us this evening because we have another new collection of e-books, hopefully to satisfy the ever-growing demand for that. Hi, Cindy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Glad you could step away. I know you stay so busy helping patrons learn how to use their e-readers and researching what's new and keeping up with the changes, because as fast as we get these things, they tend to change. Seems to me we constantly have new help sheets and new platforms and new things. You've brought me a lot of pictures tonight of how things work, and unfortunately they're a little bit out of order. Not your fault, my fault. So we're going to skim through some. I think our audience at home will see some pictures flashing by here that'll give them an idea of what's coming, but I want to get to the part where you can tell us what's going on.
Sure.
This latest e-reader collection we've got is called eRead Illinois. And it is one that they're across the state of Illinois, libraries are making available. So if you're in the Peoria area, you'll probably be able to access this. This is what it'll look like on our site. And so tell us a little bit about eRead Illinois. What's in it? How can you get it?
eRead Illinois was brought about by a grant from the Illinois Secretary of State's office through the state library.
Okay.
The reason that they did it was they realized that although many libraries throughout the state do have another ebook catalog, there were so many in some of the smaller areas that it's just beyond their budget to be able to bring e-readers and e-books to their patrons.
Right.
So this is an effort to try and distribute e-book collections throughout the entire state. And fortunately, we were able to take part in this grant, and all of the libraries in our consortium, in fact, have now eRead Illinois. The one nice thing about it is that it is a vast collection. There are 8,500 ebooks available so far, and they keep adding more and more. Right now, we just have ebooks, but eventually we will also have digital audiobooks.
That's nice. Yeah. And I know that was one of the complaints when we got our other e-read systems, that everything you wanted to read was always checked out. You always had to put stuff on hold. You always had to check out something you didn't really want if you wanted something to read right then.
Right.
And so what this does is greatly expand our collection, and I know we're adding even more that are exclusive to Peoria Public Library through this collection.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't even know we have a state library. They think, Jesse White, Secretary of State, don't realize he's our state librarian.
Right.
He kind of is the license plate guy and the organ donor guy. But he actually is our state librarian, and they do a lot of good work for libraries throughout the state. The other thing people don't understand is that there is a consortium of libraries that share resources, and we're part of RAILS, and that's how, when you want a book, it could get filled from a great number of libraries across the state because they're being driven back and forth. And so that's why it's so easy to get the books, the movies, whatever it is that you want.
Right.
But sharing those resources again, which of course is a basic principle behind libraries in the first place, is sharing information, sharing resources, brings this to people so that you don't have to buy books all the time. You can check them out for free.
Right.
Yeah. So how does one find this?
If you go to our website, it's www.peoriapubliclibrary.org, and right on our front page, that is what you're going to see, this big, beautiful banner.
Yeah, we have sliding ads there, and they do change, and there's many other things of interest you might want to look at, but you can click on that banner and get there. But also on the top of that tab under the blue, you'll see where it says ebooks, and that's where you can get to all of our ebooks.
Right. If you click on that banner, if you would like to see what is in eRead Illinois, then you'll see another smaller graphic. Just click that. Or if you look to the right of the screen, in that blue area, there is a link to several of our ebook collections. And of course, now eRead Illinois is part of that list. That's all you have to do to find the books.
And what's so great about it is you don't have to be in the library. You can do it at home.
Right.
You can be on a business trip to, someplace far away and be on your phone or your tablet. And if you've got internet access, you can still use Peoria Public Library no matter where you are.
Right. I think that is probably one of the main concepts behind the ebooks, is that libraries are there to provide books for people as seamlessly as possible. And certainly the e-reader industry has allowed that very much so. And it's just a wonderful thing to be anywhere and still be able to be at your library, even in the comfort of your own home.
Right. Great thing for 3 a.m. can't sleep.
Yes, definitely.
Or long trips, finished your book.
Yep.
And how much it lightens your luggage not to have to carry all those books along.
Definitely.
Just need your e-reader. You just need those chargers.
Yes. Have a car charger on your trip.
Yeah, and of course you also need your library card number and your
Yes.
PIN number
Right.
to be able to do that. Okay, now the next thing after you click on it, you get to this.
This is what is called the magic wall. Baker & Taylor is the company that has set this up. Their platform is called Access 360, and their design has a bunch of books on the screen, and then as you scroll over each book, it will highlight and become larger, and you can read a very quick description of it. And you can also click on it. That's how you get to the books to check them out.
Okay.
And also to browse. This here is what you would need to begin reading each ebook. Ebooks need a platform, is what I'll call it. If you're using a device, you're used to the word app, and that's also what these are. And you can choose which app you'd like depending on the format of your ebook. So Bleo, the one with the B there, is one that is a very popular e-reader. It's very user-friendly, it's colorful, one that both adults and children should be able to easily use. And one note for parents of children is that they do have parental controls so that you can make sure that if your children are using your e-reader, they will only see the children's content.
Right, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Because while I'm not for limiting reading, still there's some things you may not want your child to see at that point. Yeah. And of course, we'll get into it later, but we do have things like tumble books that are very child friendly.
Right.
We can talk about those more later. Yes, okay, so you pick your app and then you're moving on, and
one of them is Adobe Digital Editions, and this is the page that you would go to actually download that app. Most of these apps like you to establish an account. There's no exchange of private information such as a credit card or anything. You're just putting in your email address and create a password. This is kind of a sense of propriety that the publishers have about their books, that they want to make sure they know who is downloading their books to authorize the device, because there is that little bit of tension as far as making sure that the book is only downloaded to that one device.
right, it's just like people who write and the companies who produce these have a right to earn a living.
Yes.
Through their work.
Right.
And so this is protecting their work. They want you to have it. They've made it available so the libraries could buy it. But still, let's not share it, inappropriately with 20 different people. Do it one device at a time, and just like a paper book, you check it out and it checks back in.
Right.
And so that protects the rights of the people who earn a living doing this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. One nice thing, though, about checking out a physical book versus checking out an ebook is that once your ebook expires, then it will just become unavailable, and you'll get a prompt to return it or to delete it, but there are never any late fees because you won't be able to get into that book anyway. So technically, you don't have it anymore. You can check out something else.
You can check out something else,
Yep.
or go back in and check that one out again.
Right.
Yeah, but you won't. It won't ever. There won't ever accidentally accumulate fines.
Right.
Someone else in your house checks out a book on your library card or whatever on your device. It's going to go away. No worries about getting it back. Which is another advantage if you can't always get to the library physically, or you're out of town, you're busy, you have problems getting a ride there, whatever. It makes it very, very easy to download these ebooks and get this big selection.
Right, after the winter that we had.
Yes, after the winter, I think.
Snowed in.
Yes, absolutely. Bleo.
Yes. Bleo, there's that colorful screen that they have. They start out by giving you a few free examples. And again, they would like you to create an account. Once again, it's just your email address and your password. And then you sign in. They have a tour, which is a very nice feature. If you're brand new to Bleo, you can take the tour and they will teach you how to access the books, how to download, how to use the different features such as changing your font size, how to set bookmarks. And in Bleo, you can even put in highlights and annotations.
Oh, that's very nice. A nonfiction book and want to keep notes.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of keeping notes, I can hear people groaning right through the television and through their computers about accounts and passwords. But I think that some of the things I've learned recently, I read an article recently that said one of the safest ways to keep your password is write it on a piece of paper and put it in your wallet, because you keep track of your wallet.
Right.
But I also think you can create a document of passwords, or there's many apps out there you can get to keep your passwords in. I know I have one that I use, paid like $1.99 one time for it, and keep all my passwords where I can find them. So
definitely.
Just create the account, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, put it in a file in your e-reader, something. Right. And that'll keep the stress. Those of us who have password stress, that'll keep that down. Especially with having to change things all the time, and to try and remember that's just insane.
Right. The good thing is that most of these apps have the have a link to, yes, so if you do forget it, then you can create a new one. Some of them will send you an email, others will ask you a security question. Again, it's all to protect your content and your information.
Right.
So once you get into then the app itself, then you will immediately see a library of books. So we can go to the next slide and see.
Okay, well, this is the part where we have to go
backwards
quite a ways to get to the next part of our show. And we can do that real quick here. Sorry about that to the viewers at home. Just a slight technical glitch. You'll have those. One of the great things, though, when you're talking about, that there's tutorials and all that, one of the great things is that people can make an appointment with you.
Absolutely.
And come down to Main Library, and you will walk through all of this with them.
Right.
If you don't learn well on the YouTube video or the little slideshows, you can have hands-on help. And we publicize that, and we publicize at Lincoln Branch Library that you can make an appointment. But quite honestly, you can do that at any branch.
Yes.
We just, they just take it for granted that you can call, make an appointment, tell them what kind of device you have, what you want to do with it, and they will help you.
Definitely.
So no need to be afraid there.
No, and we actually do have a walk-in time. It would be downtown at the Main Library, Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. Bring your charged device.
Yeah, yes, bring your charger.
Your library card. If you don't know your PIN, we can look it up for you. and we'll take it from there.
Right.
And it's one-on-one help so that you can...
And it's free.
Right. And so we do it at your own pace.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to worry about, well, I'm not really getting this. I don't know what to do when I get home. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. You set the pace and you tell us what you would like to learn.
Right.
And we'll be
do
there.
That. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what sometimes the folks who aren't as conversant with technology may be a little older, but they may be the ones who appreciate some of the features on an e-reader the most, of being able to make the fonts larger.
Definitely.
And not having to go out to get things. So it's well worth that initial trip to learn how.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in fact, some of the ebooks from the eRead Illinois Library have a text-to-speech feature.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
So you can have it read to you.
Right. It's a little bit like the computer voice. I believe it was Kindle that first started that, Amazon with the Kindles. But still, you're able to get that text read to you.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so this was your second screen in Bleo.
Yes, this is the library. You'll notice that some books have arrows in the middle. That means that, yes, it is part of your account, but it's not yet ready to read. All you have to do is click or tap that arrow, and then your book will download. Once it's downloaded, then you can open it. The very first time that you download your book, you're going to get a screen that says attention, and it looks a little bit scary.
Yeah, it does. Oh no, something's gone wrong.
Right. And in fact, this is perfectly normal. Again, with the issue of the publishers wanting to make sure that they know the devices that their books are being downloaded to, all you have to do is just wait it out, and then once it's done authorizing your device, then your book will be available to read.
Okay. And I think anybody who's used much with the electronics is used to that. Okay, we got to set this up so we can go.
Right.
Okay.
Another thing is that you'll see that there are some books that were recently downloaded at the top. Mm-hmm. If you are downloading library books, they will appear on the bottom, and some of the ones are free. Like the Dance Big Little Pig, and that one is a Christy Yamaguchi children's book.
Well, now you say free, but all of these books are free.
Right.
But what you mean by free is like when you're playing bingo and you have the free space, because you can only have so many books downloaded at one time. Right.
You can check out 3 ebooks at one time, and you can also have 3 on hold at one time. Something, though, to point out is that Bleo is not exclusive to the Baker and Taylor Access 360. It is its own company. So occasionally, if you are reading an ebook and you are finished with it or your time is expired, it will offer to let you buy it. So something to point out with Bleo is it's a wonderful e-reading app, but you want to make sure if you're not interested, don't hit that buy button on there.
Yeah, because then it won't be free. Then you've left the library, you've gone out the library door and into the bookstore door. Right,
exactly.
Which you don't need to do to read that. You could let it go back and you could check it out again.
Definitely.
To finish it if you needed more time.
Definitely.
So good to know that it will do that. Okay, what about early return?
Most books will allow you a 14-day checkout period, and if you're a really fast reader and you have something else that you want to get started with, you can return the book early, which is again a very nice feature. Not only will it delete from your library, but it will also come off of your account.
And so that lets you check out something else or put something else on hold.
Right. All you have to do is tap the book that's in your library and hold your finger or hold your mouse button, and then the information screen will come up, and within that screen it will give you the option to return early.
Okay. And again, it has the yes, no in case you didn't really mean to press on that book.
Which, never happens, right?
Access Reader.
Access Reader is another e-reader platform that you can use. Bleo Bleo books have their own format called Bleo format, and you'll choose that when you check out your ebook from Baker and Taylor from the Magic Wall. Baker and Taylor's own e-reader is called Access Reader. This reader is only for devices, mobile devices. So if you have a Kindle Fire, an iPad, even your Android phone, this is one of the readers that you can use. Again, it's very much like Bleo. You can set your font size. The formats that work with this are PDF formats and EPUB, ebook formats. Another thing that's nice about this is because it is owned by Baker and Taylor, you can also open your app and it will put in your library for you. You can choose your library so that once you press down on the Peoria Public Library, it'll bring you right to the Magic Wall on the internet.
Well,
Bleo
that's
does
nice.
not have that connection, but still when you download from the internet, you can put your book into Bleo.
Okay, okay. So this is the thing. We need to remind everybody that all these are in eRead Illinois.
Right.
They're just different apps, different ways of accessing it, depending on which device you have, because there's so many devices out there.
Yes.
Whether
yes.
you're reading it on a phone or an iPad or an Android device, whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
Okay, and this
There's
box tells us what?
This is the screen in, excuse me, the Access Reader that shows your library. So here I have browsed and chosen Peoria Public Library. And once I did, every time I open Access Reader, it remembers it.
Oh, okay, so you don't have to keep entering that because
Right.
you're not going to have another library card or another library
Right,
unless you
exactly.
move, unless you physically relocate your household
Right.
someplace else, because you can use this no matter where you are.
Exactly.
If
Exactly.
you go to Hong Kong on a business trip, you're still a Peoria Public Library user.
Right. Wherever there is an internet connection,
Yes.
you can access.
Peoria Public Library. Okay,
Right.
well that's good that it remembers it. One step, once you get things set up. Now we're back where we started it, but let's talk about some of the other e-readers that have been available at Peoria Public Library for a while now.
Right. Overdrive Media Console is another e-reader. This is the one that we actually started with a few years ago.
Right.
They are growing by leaps and bounds, and again, we do have quite a few books in there. I believe we have hit the 8,000 books mark.
Okay.
And this is through the Alliance Digital Media Library, again, our consortium
Yeah.
of books.
Yeah.
Overdrive books can download to the Overdrive Media app, and that is available for any Apple device, any Android device. You can also use the Adobe Digital Editions, which is one of the ones that you can also use with eRead Illinois. So you can actually have your books from both libraries in that same app, and that's for computers.
Okay. Okay. And then we also have Tumble Books,
Tumble Books is
which
a
we've
lot
had
of
for
fun.
a very long time.
Right. The main difference between Tumble Books, which has a lot of children's books too.
Yes. And they're the animated story books.
Right.
So they're not just print on page, they're the ones for children, which is the major part of their collection, is like watching the old show Reading Rainbow, where they
Right.
slightly animate the characters on the page, and then you have all those different controls as a parent you can use. Let it read it to your child, or let it
Right.
be a reading tool. All kinds of cool things you can do.
Even set your reading speed, which is good for children who are working on that.
Yeah, and to
again,
help improve their reading. I know you can have it read out loud, or you can turn that off so they have to read it to themselves. You can get help with a word. And when you're done, you can go play a game.
Yes.
Most of them have games that have been done to
Right.
match.
So it is definitely a literacy focus.
Yes.
Wonderful thing to have to help children improve their reading skills.
Yes. But they also have a lot of classics
They do.
that adults are interested in, as well as other languages,
Right.
which is helpful for our ESL folks in town, but also
Definitely.
helpful for those who are studying a language
Right.
to read in another language, I think.
Definitely.
And the funny thing about Tumble Books is you don't even have to have a library card to access that one.
Right, right. You can, again, access it through our ebook tab on our homepage, and you can also download audiobooks to it.
Yes.
And there
That's
are,
relatively new if people
Right.
haven't looked at it closely in a while.
and there is a collection that is for adults. I did notice a Stephen King book in there once, so
Oh.
they do have some popular books
Yeah.
in there. Another really nice thing about Tumble Books is you will notice that if you are wanting to read a book from either the Alliance Digital Media Library with Overdrive or with Bleo, that if someone else has that book checked out, well, then you have to wait, just like a physical book. If it's not on the shelf, you have to place a hold on it. Same thing with those two. With Tumble Books, they are multiple access. You can have a book open in Tumble Books, and someone else can have that same book open somewhere else. So the digital rights are a lot more free with the Tumble Books.
Much more access.
Yes.
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for taking time to come and explain all of this. I think that people who are already into ebooks don't have a problem. They just need to know what's new.
Right.
And folks who are just now taking the plunge might feel overwhelmed, but you're there to help them, so that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We invite everybody to visit PeoriaPublicLibrary.org. Just look at our slider ads across the front page or click on the eBooks tab, and you'll open a whole digital library that you have access to no matter where you are. You just need your library card and your PIN number. If you don't have your PIN number, ask. We can get that for you. So remember to check our calendar too for all the great events we have going on, and sign up for summer reading because it's that time of year. We all need to read, and you can use your ebooks to do that. We'll see you next week on Information Please.